Take off the foo-foo, take off the couches, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top off, take off the fabricated streams and the microwave memes, the real world outside, take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro, pay 5 days.
Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the bikepacking trip that I've done and that I've professionally documented. This was my first experience with this kind of traveling, but luckily my partner, my brother, had a couple experiences with this, so I had a head start, if you will. And now that we have some context, we're moving on to the... Bikepacking sounds fun and all, but the packing part is very serious. I mean, you gotta bring clothes for days, clothes for rain, you gotta bring tent, duvet, mattress, stuff to make food. And all of said items, you can't put them in a backpack. I mean, we're bikepacking, but you need bike bags. And my parents are adventure freaks, so they had pretty much all the gear I needed prior. My brother had also been biking for 2 weeks, so he had some essentials, so I was all good. Bikepacking, and we've done the packing part, so now let's pedal back to the bike part. And after scouring the Facebook marketplace, my mom calls and says, Grandpa has a bike, but that's in Växjö. That's here. Which means that I don't have to pay for a bike. So we took the train up to Växjö, had some lovely dinner and a nice evening with our grandparents, and then took off the next day for the adventure. We started off with a couple hours of biking, 3 hours, and then stopped at a nice little restaurant. And we biked some more. Found a little guy on the side of the street that looked bored, so we joined for some fun times. Chilled with some cows, took some very amateur pictures, and ended our first etape at a highway resting area, which has toilets and running water, which is very important. The next day, the weather was really bad, so we couldn't cover as much distance as we wanted to, but we still tried and ended up going down a gravel road, which made the progress pretty slow. We then got stuck at a fast food for a few hours. Fast food that had a questionable marketing strategy. Anyways, it was pouring outside and we just didn't want to bike under hard rain, so we just took an Airbnb and chilled out for the rest of the day. And that's also the point where I broke my front brake.
I just broke my front brake by braking.
After a good night of resting, we set off for the fattest day of the trip. We biked a lot, so we saw some beautiful forests, saw some mushrooms growing out of the road, which was pretty sick. Saw a bunch of deer running around in the fields, and we even got chased by a fat dog, which gave us the adrenaline kick that we needed to finish the day. And sadly, but understandably, I do not have any footage of that because I was biking very fast. We biked for a total of 10 hours, 130 kilometers, arrived pretty late, rewarded ourselves with some nice pizza, and biked for another 20 minutes in the dark to reach our camping destination. On the fourth day, we started what we didn't know was our last day. We were still a good 200 kilometers away from Stockholm. We had biked all of this, and we had this part left. But around midday, it started raining. We were tired, but we still powered through. And then we saw that the weather was going to be crap the next day, and we didn't feel like biking another 10 hours in the rain. So we said, fuck it, and decided to take the train to Stockholm. And that was that. After 30 hours of biking, 400 kilometers, 80 kilometers by train, but we arrived at our final destination, Stockholm. And I want to dedicate this last part of the video to reflect on different things about this trip. How does it feel to do a trip like that? Would I do it again? Would I recommend it? And what did I learn? Let's see. Regarding the trip itself, I really loved it. It was a creative way to get from point A to B, where I could really take the time to appreciate the trip and not the destination. It sounds hella cheesy, but it's true. At first, I just wanted to cover a bunch of distance, and after a while, I realized it was more of a marathon than a sprint, and there was no point in rushing things. At some point, I just let my thoughts take over, and my brain just went on autopilot. And I got to discover some parts of my home country that I've never seen before, and got to spend some good time with my brother. I have very dear memories of us biking when we were younger, so we created even more moments to cherish. So, would I do it again? Absolutely. But experience is key, and in the spirit of learning from mistakes, I would learn from my mistakes. First of all, I would be more careful with the weather. I would pick either a week where it's not raining, as much as I love a good rainy day. Rain is not nice when you're bikepacking. So either a better week or a better country. Gear-wise, I was far from having the optimal equipment, but it didn't matter that much. Okay, I had absolutely no swagger, but I had the essentials. So I would invest as my budget allows next time, but as long as you have the essentials, you're good. And finally, would I recommend it? Yes. No. It's perfect if you like traveling and you want to add a little bit of spice. Biking is fast enough to cover some significant distance, but slow enough for you to enjoy the views. And effort-wise, you can go hard and go far, or you can go chill and enjoy other things than just biking. So in conclusion, call your friend or friends if you have several, and start planning your first bikepacking trip. See ya.
Yeah! Mountain biking!